Well, let me
Yeah,
do it
for
this
some
way.
reason now.
Th-
Oh, you can do that
That
way.
made
So
me
then,
upside
if you're
down.
doing
We
it
don't
that
want
way, do I do it that way as well then?
that.
So thanks for joining,
I
Tom.
might not be able to.
So just for everybody here, um, everybody here. So Tom basically is in Calgary. He's got Maple Money Media. He, for me, is the number one personal finance guy in Canada, and it's a great honor to actually have you on here. So he is the oracle of personal finance for me, and basically Maple's Money mission, and I've got it here, it says, is to help you learn to make money, save money, invest money, and spend money in a way that helps you create lasting financial freedom. So phenomenal.
That's right.
So just with you with Maple Money then, what's been the biggest need for this in Canada before we start talking about all the other good stuff? What have you seen as the big problems in Canada that maybe we have in the US?
It's all pretty similar. There's difference between Canada and the U.S. obviously, but a lot of it comes down to the same things. It's still how people manage their money, how they use credit.
Yeah,
It's all been pretty much the same. We've had our differences in the past, like when the U.S. had a large drop in real estate in 2008, 2009. We never really had that, and it's just because we didn't have that same sort of subprime mortgage mess. Different regulations prevented
yeah,
that here in Canada. So
yeah,
things like that come up, but day to
yeah,
day, it's still the same problem. People are still spending too much. They're putting it all on
yeah.
credit cards, all the usual stuff.
So again, no matter where you are in the world, there is the same problem of living within your means, looking after your money, managing your money, credit cards, and all those temptations. So
Yeah.
basically, the same problem I'm trying to get to really is that there's the same problem everywhere in the world. Everyone's doing the same thing. So what you're trying to do with Maple Money, what I'm trying to do with Cash Crunch, is fix this so that there are no problems in the future and also for next generations. So
Yeah.
Christmas has just been and gone, hasn't it? Did you have a good one?
Yeah, it was great. Two crazy little boys running around the house. They're happy. They got almost everything they wanted.
So that actually brings me on to Christmas presents and parenting and everything else. I mean, was there an expectation for you to give them everything and they wanted, or did you hold back and live within a budget, or did you listen to the big items and then they can wait another time? What was your view on that?
Part of me thinks we probably spent too much. We stuck within a budget, but our budget was too big. It's uh, th Thankfully they didn't ask Santa for a list of items. I don't mean they got everything that way. They both asked for
Yeah,
one thing each. It was easy enough that way. It's just they were big items. One wanted a video game system, and the other wanted, as he worded it, a robot you can control with an app. So we found this little Sphero thing
all right.
that he can use with. I've got an old phone I'd given them to use as a pretend tablet kind of thing. Um, so uh, so they both wanted big ticket items, which concerned me a bit. But at the same time, it was hard to not give them what they wanted when you say, well, you, if you're good all year and you you're good. Well, sorry, if you're good the whole year, then Santa will get you what you want. It's hard to make that difference and then say,
Yeah,
oh, you
yeah,
didn't get what you wanted.
yeah, for
So
sure.
in a few years, I think that'll be a lot easier where we get past some of that, and then it's just you're going to get what you get for Christmas kind of thing.
Right, right, yeah. So when you did that, and you actually spent a load of money, was there any times that you thought, or the kids thought, what you thought was a good present, and the kids thought, wow, that was a waste of money, or it was something they went, oh yeah, right, and threw it in the next present? I mean, there is a danger of that, and I've seen that with kids. I mean,
Yeah.
does that happen in your household?
A little bit, but what we did to kind of make this all work out was any of the presents directly from us going for the rest of the day were things like books and clothes, things that we wanted them to have, things that we would have bought anyways. So it didn't become this constant parade of new toys. we kind of gave them a few needs worked in there. Now, obviously, other relatives will give them different toys and everything else, but no, overall it went good. They're still they're using pretty much everything already. Like we're only 2 days in, but they kind of have looked at everything and used it at least a bit. So we'll see. I know what you mean though. Like come a month from now, so some of the toys might never get played with again.
So going one step further, something you said very interesting there. You know, you said there was a list and then there was family in there. Do you guys actually have a list of, you know, you got nephews and nieces and all those kind of things? Do you all have like a communion list? So, you know, little Johnny or little Lucy or little Evie, whatever, or little Sam, they want something, and you know, the parents have actually put a list of all the things that they want, potentially, like a wedding list. You know, you go to a wedding and they've got their wish list. Does your family have that with the different families, so you know you're not wasting your money or clubbing together to buy something like a big ticket item for that kid?
Yeah, we basically did. We didn't necessarily do it on purpose, but all the relatives would come to us saying, well, what's this kid want? What's that kid want? So it wasn't something I can claim that I planned ahead or anything, but people are asking what they wanted, so we certainly made sure. It's like, well, we're not going to buy all this stuff, so we'd pass that information on. Another thing we've done the last few years is just stop buying them. Like I said, we bought clothes and books. We stopped buying them a lot of toys. When they were younger, it was a lot of, oh well, we want to buy them all these toys, but then you add all the relatives on top, and they end up with so many toys they couldn't possibly play with them. So we really kind of dialed that back so that other people, other relatives, can kind of get them toys, and we don't have to go all out like that. We can be the boring parents that just give them clothes and books.
Well, you know, that's actually a very interesting point about, you know, with all the relatives, and then you've got to be seen to be buying a present, and then it gets into competition and who's bought the most expensive present. And I was speaking to someone the other day, and you know, we've got to spend at least $100 on this kid, and I don't even know him. I thought, what? And you got you got 7 kids to pay for. You know, why do you have to spend $100? Buy something for $10, which is more meaningful. You don't have to get into that competition. But then also, when you're buying everybody presents, it gets crazy. And if you've got a budget and a monthly budget, I mean, you know, if you're earning $10 an hour or $20 an hour, and you're buying a present at $20 a time, and times 7, $140, that's 7 hours. That's nearly a day's worth of work to buy kids presents that you don't even know that they're A, they're going to appreciate, B, they're going to use, or C, they're even going to say thank you for. So where does it stop? So I think sometimes when you say about that with families and that you're backing off and not doing, I think a lot of families can maybe even incorporate that and go, well, we'll just look after our own family, you look after your family, let's not present, because there is a big problem with budgeting there, right?
Yeah, for sure. One thing, basically my aunts and uncles and everything, we had decided, even amongst each other, that we would just start doing it as sort of a secret Santa, like you buy one gift. So
brilliant.
So I didn't have to buy for every single cousin, or even when I was younger, every aunt and uncle didn't have to give me a present. It's like we would draw names, and each person buys one person a present. And then, similar to what you just said, we actually kind of just stopped it completely, because with this idea of buying one person a present and then you have to ship it and everything, it became almost everybody sending everybody a $50 gift card. And so if you're buying someone a $50 gift card and almost expecting to get a $50 gift card in return, it kind of defeated the point. So you might as well just send them a card.
And I do like that idea, actually. But you say you do Secret Santa, and then when you're all together, then you do a gift swap. So you end up
Yeah.
getting what you want, and then you turn that into a game of, "Oh, I'll swap you for that, no, I'll swap you for that," and then you're all bidding for each other's presents. Then that will be a lot of fun, and you've only spent one present. So just by doing that, you've eliminated 7 or 8 different presents already.
Yes,
So please carry on.
I was just going to say we do that with my wife's aunts and her cousins and everything who are coming over today. Actually, we do that with them. The true Secret Santa when you're all in the same location and yeah, you buy the one gift
Yeah.
and fight for the good ones.
I think that's a lot of fun as well, because you just don't know who it's from, and it's a guessing game and what they've got, and it could be a prank or it could be a really nice present depending on who
Yeah,
you are, so
exactly.
it's really good that we're doing. So now Christmas is done, and I know you got family coming over, but if you had to do it again, Christmas this year, what would you do differently?
Oh, what would I do differently? That's a good question. I would always like to spend less.
Yeah,
We get pretty into Christmas. It's easy to do things like buy a bunch of new decorations when you already have a bunch. Um, Even if you want to buy them, something you can do is just go buy them yesterday. Uh,
yeah,
Boxing Day in Canada is a big deal. I don't know if it is in the States or not, but I didn't think so. Black Friday is more for the States, but here in Canada we have Boxing Day, which is similar to Black Friday, but the day after
yeah,
Christmas.
yeah,
So it's a great day to buy Christmas related stuff because you can buy decorations, you can buy gift wrap and everything.
yeah.
I used to treat it when I was younger, say teenager, had a bit of my own money. I used to treat it as the day to buy the stuff I didn't get for Christmas. So
Yep,
I
yep,
wasn't really
yep.
I wasn't really thinking of it correctly, but at least I was getting the thing I really wanted at a discount
Hmm.
because just like Black Friday, they'd have the big discounts. But
Yep.
even in the States, though, whether it's called Boxing Day or not, I'm sure all the Christmas related items are on discount,
On
like
sale.
any wrap or
Yeah.
decorations.
Well, they want
Yeah,
the
so you
shop
might as
floor
well buy
space,
that.
don't they? They
Yeah,
want to get rid of
exactly.
it
So
all.
if you have the space at home, you might as well buy next year's wrap this week because then
Yeah.
you might buy it for half off.
So then do you think then, think about this at Christmas. You've got in December coming up to Christmas, you've got all the presents to buy, you've got all the food, people are maybe flying in, flying out, you're visiting, and then you've got this work and you've got staff parties and then, this party, it becomes a very, very expensive month, right?
Hmm.
And a lot of people are spending more than they actually earn that month. And then they
It's
suffer
possible. Yeah.
in January, February, March, paying off their credit card debt. What if they actually budgeted each month and they put X amount a month away starting the 1st of January? And so then when they come to December, they've got a pot full of money to take care of December. Or you said, let's buy the Christmas presents throughout the year as we're going along, so you're not affecting your cash flow.
Yeah, we do a bit of both. I'll do one further on the budgeting throughout the year for that is we just take all of our annual expenses, whether it's something like there'll be an amount for Christmas, there'll be an amount for life insurance that we happen to pay
Yeah,
once a year, just any of these annual expenses, and we spread them throughout the month. That's part of putting it away.
yeah,
Um, but we also do the buying presents throughout the year. If something's on a huge sale, what we'll do is we'll buy these items and we don't necessarily know what we're going to use them for. Like it'll be for the kids, but it could be a birthday coming up. It could be for Christmas. It's just sort of a secret gift closet where
yeah,
we hide everything that we've been able to
yeah,
buy on some kind of huge discount. In fact, when we looked at Christmas, we kind of thought, yeah, that's more than we need to give them. So we held a couple things back. One of our kids has a birthday in February. I'm sure he'll get one of those
bonus.
toys then. So
Yeah,
we didn't just say, okay, here's all the stuff we bought. Let's give it all. We kind of looked at it and like, well, let's just hold back on some of the stuff. So we've already kind of started refilling our secret gift closet.
yeah, yeah. My aunt she had a sauna at her house, and actually that became the Christmas closet where she would buy things throughout the year, and she would never use a sauna, but she would actually use it as the Christmas closet. So another thing then, if you think about with parenting, you know, with your boys and everything else, is that do you do delayed gratification? So if they're wanting something, do you make them wait till Christmas or their birthday before they get it?
Yeah, we try not to just give them stuff to give them stuff. If they want something sooner, then they have to earn it. One thing we did was a year or two ago, we had them earn money towards a Wii U. They really wanted this, and there was no holiday in sight to bail them out or anything. So they worked towards it and did chores and earned the money to buy the Wii U. And they bought it used so that they could actually afford it, because the new price was a little high still. So we bought used on Kijiji, I think it was, and they saved up towards it. Yeah, we try not to just constantly give them stuff. Like if just like the gift closet, if we see something that's on sale and we really think it's a toy that they will enjoy, we'll buy it, but we'll hold on to it. There's no sense
just don't tell them where the closet is.
Right? Yeah, well, they're young enough right now. I'll tell you guys, it's just a little room under the stairs. So I don't think they actually realize it exists. But as they get older, if they go down in the basement to play hide and go seek or something like that, there's going to be a problem where they're going to catch on.
Yeah, well, you're talking about delayed gratification and that present and everything else. My wife, Shireen, she always tells them a story whenever we see kids roller skate. She always goes back to the days where she wanted some rollerblades, and the old ones with the wheels and then the stopper on the front, you know, the old boot style, and that's what she wanted. Yeah. And her mom and dad would not buy them for her straight away, even though that's what she wanted. She had to wait. I can't remember if it's Christmas or birthday, but the moment she got them, she wore them out. You know, she just, it was the best thing she'd ever got, because she was looking forward to them so much. She looked after them, and she used them every day until she outgrew them. But, you know, the fact that when you wait for something with delayed gratification, you can learn to hold back. So there's not that, I need it now, and I'm going to spend now, with this impulse spending. I mean, you probably found that's a big problem in Canada with impulse buying, right? And credit card debts and everything else, because you're wanting it now. So are there any things that you do with your kids, or that you've spoken on Maple Money about delayed gratification, and are there any ways that, you know, you can help them with that?
I probably have written about it. I can't think of anything specifically right now, but it's certainly a big part of it. Like certainly with my own kids, yeah, they never just get stuff handed to them. Sure, we kind of spoiled them for Christmas, but at least we did hold back where we could, and it's certainly something where they need to learn that. I do worry that when I swipe a credit card in front of them, are they thinking that's a little too magical? that we're able to walk away with a whole cart of whatever, and all I did was swipe this little piece of plastic. They don't really see me paying the bill afterwards, so that's something I might need to sort of help them learn.
Well, one of the good things you could do with that with your kids is, say, get some Monopoly money, or if you had a cash crunch game, you could use the money, the play money in that. But actually get some money from the household, or what actually comes in, and then actually start putting the money in piles.
Yeah.
So that they can visualize where their money's going, and then say, well, this is what's left, and this is for, you know, fixing the house, next year's Christmas presents, next year's vacation, next year's carpet, whatever. They actually get to see where the money goes, so that once it's gone, it's gone. You know, so that might be that's always a good way that I've actually used in the classroom. But I like what you did with the gaming console with the Wii U. I don't know what it is.
Wii U.
The Wii U. With the fact that two things I like there. You said that the kids bought it secondhand, so they're not paying full price, and they realize what they can afford. But second thing is that they saved up their money and their allowances and everything else, and had to do chores in the house to learn the value of money, but then actually they spent it, But now that they've taken ownership, they probably look after it more so because they know how much it's cost them. You
Yeah,
know,
I think they have. There's it's a good point you bring up because one thing we found this year more than any year for some reason is they're not sort of respecting things like their like a fall vest or gloves and hats. They're leaving the stuff behind at school and so what we made our oldest kid do, he totally lost a vest that like a puffy warm vest that he had worn maybe a couple times. He lost it at school. I think he took it off outside and left it there. But we made him buy a new one out of
yeah,
his money.
yeah.
Just to get that idea that there's a cost to these things. Speaking of video games, they actually did wreck a controller, probably just dropping it too many times. I expect they're going to drop it sometimes. They're kids. I can drop it too. But
So it was you who broke
eventually,
it.
well, I say it was them, but they would keep dropping the controller, and eventually, I think it was one of the buttons that doesn't work now. So
Yeah,
the idea is they haven't replaced it yet. It's one of 4 controllers, but if they want to have that 4th controller working, they're going to have to replace it, and they know
yeah.
that. They're kind of saving up for that now too. Because a controller on its own isn't expensive. It isn't cheap nowadays either. I think
Oh, no,
it's
no, they're not.
$50
So,
minimum.
so one of the things, and I've heard from other people that they do this with clothing allowances. Like, you know, your son, I mean, he didn't do it on purpose by leaving his vest and everything else. He didn't do it on
Mhm.
purpose, but things happen. And you got to put a value on something, and you got to have, you know, there's an action, there's a reaction, and there's a consequence to that. You know, the action is you forget about, the reaction is it's lost forever. The consequence is you're going to get into trouble with the parents, but you got to replace it. So, you know,
Yeah.
if kids realize that. So I can't remember who's written this, but they said that they give their kids an allowance for clothing for the year, and they say, right,
Mhm.
this is your allowance for clothing. You're going to buy you need a coat. You need this, you need this, you need this, and we're not going to give you anything. So if you spend everything, you're not going to, obviously there's going to be a bit of an emergency fund there because it makes silly spending. But do you think that would work? What's your opinion on that with clothing, for example?
I really like the idea. I've heard this before too. We're not doing this yet, but as they get older, maybe once they're in their even young teens would be fine.
Yeah,
I like this idea because one, they're going to want that money aside. They're going to want that kind of independence of being able to choose what they're going to wear and everything. But I also like the idea of letting them make those mistakes a little bit. If they want to spend their entire clothing budget on a pair of really expensive jeans, well, then
yeah,
they're going to have a bunch of ratty t-shirts or something like that and maybe don't even fit properly.
yeah,
Um, Similar to like when I was in college, I suddenly had to realize how money worked, and because I didn't know before then, and I much rather have a teenager make those mistakes where they're still sort of safe and protected. Like
yeah,
they're in our house. Like you said, you could still have a bit of an emergency to bail them out when needed, but along with a lesson. Um,
yeah.
so so yeah, I like the idea. It's something where yes, they're gonna screw up, but they might as well have them learn while they're 13 to 18 than once they're out on their own. So
It's a
I
cheap lesson, isn't it? It's a cheap lesson now. So when you don't go into the world, I mean, you know that rule of 72 and how compound interest on credit cards doubles, doubles, doubles. I mean, it is
yeah.
absolutely bonkers. Just with my wife Sharina, she wanted this T-shirt, this designer T-shirt, and she was like, Mom, can I have this T-shirt? And Mom said, I'm buying you that T-shirt. It's too expensive. I'll tell you what you'll do is you'll work and then you can go and buy it. And when she
Yeah.
ended up getting the money, she went to look at that. She said, "It's not worth my money. Why would I want to buy that and waste my money on that T-shirt?" And that was the lesson done. You know, it's teaching them the value of something, so it's not all about brands and it's not all about whatever. You know, it's learning the value of something. So that's absolutely brilliant. Now, have you what's your view? Are there any resources that you've seen out there that you know you've used with your kids or you're aware of that you know that you think do a great job in teaching financial literacy? Other than Cash Crunch games, of course, but is there
Of
anything
course.
else that you use?
Um, Not really. There's not a lot out there. There's obviously games like Cash Crunch Games,
Yeah,
but I don't know. I wish there was more being taught within a school system. Like I can teach my kids about money.
yeah,
That's great, but that's just two kids. So
yeah,
I really wish. I assume it's the same problem in the States. It is here too, where they don't really get into any sort of
yeah,
financial literacy much in at a school level, and then that's what led to me having issues in college, where suddenly I had
yeah,
to really know about money. Um,
yeah,
we do all this math that when I was in high school I thought was useless, and now that I'm out of school I still think is useless. Um, but
yeah,
we don't do really simple math, but math related to your money
yeah.
just changes sort of the way you look at that. So I I don't think there's a lot out there that people can really use other than just finding those chances where you can teach your own children.
Yeah, yeah. I know that, and in the US now, obviously, I'm in this space and things, and you'll see things like the money mammals from Sniggle Zoo, Sammy Rabbit, where he teaches money through game, through
Hmm.
song and dance. And you've got next gen personal finances going into schools and doing great stuff, and you got NYIB. So you've got a lot of credit unions and EverFi, and there's a lot of companies out there now doing a lot with personal finance. So I, I guess there's, if you scratch beyond the surface, there's a lot of stuff, but it's finding the stuff that's right for your kids, because some
Hmm.
of it won't work and some of it will. And I guess there's a lot of stuff you find. One of the things I do love is FAMZoo, Bill Dwight.
Yep.
He has a prepaid card where you can put the allowance on there. When we were talking about when your kids become teens, spending their money and being controlling the finances, and you just literally putting their allowance on there. I mean, is that something that you think would be a good thing for a child?
It sounds like a great idea. It probably doesn't work here in Canada. Just being most cards won't work across the border. Like we wouldn't be able to sign up for it. But
Yeah,
the ideas sound great. One of the issues in Canada is just strictly population. If someone can make something in the U.S., it's like it's not really worth their time to make a Canadian version of that because
right.
we're a tenth the population. So um, any of the hope I see is it's a very Canadian thing to say, but I think it's going to be on the government side.
Yeah,
We have a task force of financial literacy there, which is a federal level task force, and
yeah,
they're kind of looking at different things like this, like how they can start to look at putting it into schools or any other kind of sort of government supported way of doing this. I know the Ontario government's actually looking at a financial literacy program as well, but for companies to pop up, it's a lot less often or a lot less likely to happen in Canada just because unless it's a
yeah,
Canadian company, for a U.S. company, it's a lot of extra hassle for a tenth of the population.
yeah. Well, fair enough, fair enough. But anyway, anything happening for you next year? Anything big happening for Maple Money next year?
Uh, just more of the same. This 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 current year finishing, we launched Maple Money Show, so that's only 6 months old now. So we'll be moving ahead with that a lot more. We're hoping to have a lot more content on the site itself, new content, I mean. So we're just looking to kind of keep building and growing. Maybe at some point in the year, I'd like to get into video more, but we'll see how the schedule looks for that.
Okay. So Maple, is it Maple? It's maplemedia.com, and it's also good for the US market as well.
MapleMoney.com.
Maple Money, sorry, Maple
Yeah.
Money, yeah. So Maple Money, my
No
mistake.
problem. Yeah,
Maplemoney.com.
there's certainly a lot that'll work for U.S. readers. Obviously, you can ignore the stuff about RSPs or our different credit cards or anything like that. But when it comes to the basics, basics are basics. How to budget, how to sort of manage your money in general. That applies universally.
Yeah. Okay. Well, perfect. Well, listen, Tom, thank you very much for your time. I truly appreciate it. It's always fun talking to you, and I hope to see you very soon. So all the best. Have a wonderful new year, and we'll catch up with you very soon.
Thanks for having me on. It's been great chatting.
Cheers. And Maple Media, I'm doing it again, Maple Media, MapleMoney.com. Is there anything, is there anywhere else you want to send people to other than MapleMoney.com?
You can find us on Facebook. Just search Maple Money. You can get Maple Money Show on any of your podcast players.
Yeah, we need to get you downloading your podcasts and get those going, right? And start listening, get those going.
That's the push right now. I want everybody to start listening to the podcast.
All right, perfect. So let's get Tom's Maple Money podcast. Let's start listening to that and downloading. So thank you very much, Tom, and I look forward to seeing you very soon.
Thanks for having me on.
Mate. Take care. Bye-bye now.